Welcome to a little snippet on how to do a market analysis using the matrix search, setting defaults, learning how to use areas, or a map draw. I'm going to go over to the search tab, and when I click on the search tab or hover, I can go to the search that I want to use. I want to use the comparative market analysis search, so I'm going to click on CMA. As you'll notice, when I click on my CMA, I have defaults set already. You may not have these set. All you have to do is click on the gear to set them as a default. So let me show you how to do that first. I'm going to press clear so there's nothing on my screen. I'm going to choose active because that's the competition, and contingent because it's kind of the competition. I'm going to choose all the pendings, but you don't have to, just choose whichever pendings you want. I'm going to take out the 0 to 180. We don't really need those because pendings change pretty rapidly. And if you didn't want pending feasibility or you didn't want pending short sale, you could take those out as well. So kind of make a decision on which pendings that you want. Then I'm going to mark sold because that's the reality of what these properties sold for. If you want to always make sure you get the closest properties possible in time frame, I could change this to 30 days, but there are times that you just can't find enough properties that way. So you need to make a decision on how far out you want to go for those properties. We'll just leave it on 180 today. You can also use expired, going out maybe 360 days to be able to show your client what was marketed but maybe didn't sell. And again, that would be up to you if you want to use that or not and how far you want to go. So I'm going to set this, and then I want to set my subtype as residential. Then I'm going to go to the gear, click on the gear icon, and click on the 4 words set criteria as default. Now I have my first column all ready to go, but I can change it at any point. The other thing that you might want to set are additional fields. I've added many additional fields. That way, if I needed to use, say, golf, I can just click on it and I would use that as a comparative market analysis. Or I needed waterfront, I could click on that as a market analysis. So it's really making a decision about how prepared you want to be so you can streamline a market analysis and be able to get to the information quickly. To add additional fields, you just click on the Add Remove next to additional fields. You can see the different selected fields I've chosen. If you want to choose a field, you just click on what you want to choose and click Add, and it will move over for you. Or you can click on it and remove it. You can also double click to move it over and back. What I did is I put my style code first because I typically use that all the time, and then I put the other things in that I might need, and to make sure they're in alphabetical order for me to make it easier, I just move them to where I want them to be. And then I have them in the order I want. It just again makes it faster. These parentheses refer to the information up above. So if I'm looking at style code, I can see it works for R, residential, CD, condo, MH, manufactured home, and so on. So that'll help you knowing that you're using the right one for the right property type. Then I'm just going to click this back button, which just means submit it into that web page. And then I'm going to scroll down, and I would have the information that I need when I'm ready. So I'm going to pretend I just logged in, and I'm going to click on the search tab. I'm going to click on CMA, and I'm ready to do a market analysis. Now, if you know the area, you can just type in the area, type in where you're trying to do a market analysis in the neighborhood, maybe add the style of home first, and maybe add the square feet, always watching your matches as you do this. So my property is 1,600 square feet. I'm just looking around the edges. I have 13 matches to that I can go through and see if they will work for my market analysis. So I showed you how to do the first column. Let me show you how you can work in the second column a little differently. So I am going to pretend that I don't know an area. And what I will do is use my map search, because we have layers, to be able to find those map areas. So I'm going to click on map. And in jump to address here, I want to be able to move into the Green Lake area. I can either move my map around until I find it, or I can just type Green Lake and go to Green Lake, Washington, and I'm right in the lake. Then I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to be able to put the information in I want. It's a little far out. So now let's say that I want to know what is this area called. Then I am going to use our layers. So what is it? Area 705, 710, what is it, right? So I'm going to click on the layers, and I'm going to see that I have boundaries with MLS area in them. I'll click MLS area, and pretty soon I'll get red boundaries, red lines, showing me the area. And I can zoom out and see more of the area, and this is the 705 area. You can see the red line for that. Or I can zoom closer in, but sometimes it's harder to see and you might have to move your map around to find the number. So now I know it's the 705 area. I'm going to come back to layers and clear all, and then I'm going to go to my criteria, type 705, click on Green Lake. Again, because I've already added the additional field, I can go ahead and put in the style of home, watching my matches, and then my square footage on the house is 1600, so I'm just going to go around the edges on that a bit and be able to get some matches. So that's how I was able to do an area and community or neighborhood if you didn't know the area number to use the map tab. Now I'm going to do another search. So I'm going to go search single family CMA. My first column is done. This time I want to do a map search instead of an area community. I can use the map here, or I can use the map tab. I'm going to click on the map tab. They do the same thing. I'm going to choose the Kingsgate neighborhood. And I want to do a map draw. This time I think I will just draw a map around this area. Now remember, when you do a map draw, you need to know the communities or the neighborhood to make sure you do a good draw. I don't know this neighborhood really well, so I am just guessing. But for you, hopefully you'll get a chance to drive around, get to know the pricing, get to know the area, and you won't be guessing. So I'm going to click here and say this is the area that I can use. So I'm using the polygon map and clicking. I can either click on the red dot to finish, or I can just right click and it will finish it for me. Now I have the properties in here, and I'm going to go to my criteria tab. They're based on what I put in this first column, but I still want to go back and add that it's a 2-story house with 56 matches. The square feet 1800, so I'll do 1700 to 1900. And I have 4 matches. So I'm probably going to do a little more searching. So after I do this one, if I didn't find enough properties, I could go do another search. But before I do that, I might want to save this search and put these properties into a cart. So I'm going to click on my results, click on save, click on new save search, and I'm going to do this as a CMA on 456 Maple. I'm going to create a new contact, and I'm going to call it 456 Maple subject property. So that's the property I'm trying to find market analysis properties for. And I'm just using a fake email here. And I will save that. By the way, if you want to keep notes, then you click on Show All Fields, scroll to the bottom, and you could put in that it's 4 bedrooms, 1,700 square feet, etc., of whatever information you wanted. And then I'm going to click Save and Save. Now I'm going to select all of these properties, click on Carts, click the drop-down menu, and find my subject property, 456 Maple. Click on it. There's 0 properties currently. I'll click Add To, and I now have those 4 properties in there. But I want to find a few more properties, so I'm going to click on the Criteria tab, and I'm going to see if maybe I have something that's comparable to a 2-story that I could see if I could get more matches. So maybe I want to use a 2-story with basement, and I could see if there's any properties that way, or a 1.5-story with basement, or something else that might help find more properties. $16.50 to $19.50. And if I didn't get enough there, then I might want to expand my solds and add a year instead of 6 months. After I've made a decision on what I want to do, then I will click on Results, click on Cart, click All to select the properties, and Add To. And now instead of 4, I have 14. Now I can go in and view those properties and be able to make decisions about which ones match and which ones don't match. And that's a little snippet on how to do a market analysis. Just remembering that when you use your defaults, setting the gear, it's just going to streamline it a little more for you. However, you could also say, you know, I just don't want to look at these today. I just want to do a quick glance at solds. And you could look just at that. But every time you go to search single family CMA, it would be set up however you set it up and use it 90% of the time. Thank you. Have a great day.